Done one eye off camera just because I didn't really even know what this look was going to turn out. I thought, oh, I'm going to do like a really smoky fall look, and then this is what it ended up turning into. So this is what we're going to go with. I ended up liking how it turned out. So the first thing I do is take the Louise base. How I like to start off is by going ahead and shaping out this brow that I've already done. And I'm going to use this little angled brush from Eco Tools, and I'm not sure what it's called. It's like the most perfect brush, but I cannot find it anywhere. They have ones extremely similar, but it's still not the same, you know what I'm saying? This is the MAC 252, and I'm just going to take it and dip it into the Louise base, and I'm just going to get it pretty saturated on both sides. And I'm just going to start pressing it around my eye. Honestly, I feel like when I'm doing my makeup and I'm trying to talk on camera, that it takes me like 5 minutes to get a whole sentence out, because I'm like, next I'm going to do this. And it's because I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing. I feel like I do much better at voiceovers. So I just want to pat this in. That's how you activate the product. You do want to get a good amount. One thing that I have learned with this product is that I don't necessarily want to say the more the better, because you don't want to like seriously cake it on there real bad, but you definitely want to put a good amount on there. I'm very frugal with my stuff. I grew up extremely poor, so like even now that I have like a career and everything, I still catch myself being really frugal. And I try not to use that much stuff, but on this you can't do that. You have to just, you know, use it. Next, I'm just going to take a blending brush, and this is the Morphe B38. I'm just going to use this to kind of blend the concealer out, or the base out on the sides, just so it's not like a harsh line, and later on when we go to do the rest of our makeup, it kind of blends a lot easier. So today I am going to be using the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Master Collection brush set. So the first brush I'm going to go in with is the JH34. It's a really nice precision like crease brush. And the first shade I'm going to go in with is this shade called Bitten, and it is by Makeup Geek. I'm just going to get that on my brush, and I'm going to start just placing the product. I'm just going to press it in where I want it to go. Now this is a technique that I have been using ever since I did my video where I recreated one of Mitchell's looks, and this just worked for me, so I've just kind of stuck with it. And I mean, you know, he's the best, so you can't really go wrong there. I mean, he definitely is a heavy influence on my makeup game these days. The next brush I'm going to take is a Morphe JH35, and I'm going to take this shade called Morocco by Makeup Geek. It's another just single eyeshadow pan, and I'm just going to start scratching that on here very lightly. I always have a hard time in this area right here because I have this little tiny kind of pock mark, and that is because that is where I had a chicken pox when I was a senior in high school. Yes, a senior. When I was a senior in high school, I got chicken pox and pink eye at the same time. Now tell me that that's not like rough life. Okay, and then I'm just going to flip my brush over to the other side. And I'm going to go in with this shade called Chickadee. It's another Makeup Geek shadow. So I'm just going to pretty much go over that orange and just a little bit above it, just to blend that out a little more. And then I'm going to go back in with the shade Bitten. I'm going to use the same brush that I originally used with it, the JH34, and I'm just going to go back in and deepen up this burgundy shade. Okay, so next I'm going to take the JH40. This brush looks to me almost to be exactly like the M506, which is one of my favorite blending brushes ever. It's so tiny and it's so precise. So I'm just going to jump into the Jaclyn Hill palette. And I do understand now the irony of using Makeup Geek shadows and Jaclyn Hill shadows at the same time. I love both. No hate here at my channel. This is like Switzerland. And so I'm just going to dive into this shade right here. And I don't have the shade names on me, so I'm not sure what it's called. And I'm just going to tuck that right in here, just so there's like a little bit of a darker edge to this. And don't worry about this down here because we're going to clean that up in a second anyways. So I just want this purple to show up, this really dark purple to show up just a tiny bit, like right above where I'm going to cut my crease. So that's why I'm laying it there. And then I'm going to press it just the tiniest bit right here so that it kind of goes around like this and kind of like a circle or a half circle. And also when I cut my crease and I go to blend this out right here, like over here, I want this to be able to blend into that blue easy. So I'm going to go back in with the P. Louise base. I'm going to put some more of that on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take my MAC 252 brush and I'm going to saturate both sides again. And I'm just going to start pressing that onto my lid. I feel like I could do like really good at ASMR because I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'm like really quiet when I film and I talk really low, and then of course I talk really slow because I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing. So I'm like, and now if you can just press this into your lid. I have a weird personality, what can I say? Next, I'm going to go back in with that brush that I used to carve out my eyebrows, that Eco Tools brush, and I'm just going to use this to carve out my cut crease. And then I'm just going to take my brush and I'm going to kind of tap that in again just to blend it out a little better. Now I'm going to go back in with that little tiny precision brush and back in that shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm only going to just press it right here on the outer. The blue shade that I use for all over my eye is this blue shade right here, and I believe it's called Space Out OWT, and it's from the Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette. My husband got me this for Christmas, and so I just love dragging it out to do looks with it anytime that I can because it's, you know, kind of special. I'm going to go in with the JH41 because I feel like it's like very similar to like a MAC 242 brush, and I'm going to pick that shade up and then I'm going to spritz my brush with some Fix Plus, and then I'm going to dip back into it, and I'm just going to start pressing that color into my lid. I feel like if you press it as opposed to rubbing it, it gives you the best color payoff and it also sticks better. Now I'm not going to go all the way up to that line just yet. I'm going to get as close to it as I can. And also when you press the shadow in like this, it creates a lot less fallout. I'm just going to press it right over top a little bit of that purple. I'm going to go in with this liner brush, and it is the MAC 211. I'm going to get a little bit of that blue on here, and I'm just going to use this to get a very precise line. Like I want it to go right up against that concealer, right up against where we cut that crease, but I don't want it to go over, and this is the best way that I know how to get that to lay on there and still look crisp and sharp. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in with the JH41. I'm going to flip my brush around and I'm going to mix two other shades from the Fenty Galaxy palette, and it's going to be these two shades right here. This one right here is called Ultraviolet, and this one right here is called Milky Way. So I'm going to get a little bit of both of those on my brush. Again, I'm going to spritz it with some Fix Plus, and then I'm going to go back in, and what I'm going to do is I'm only going to press this right on the center. I'm going to fan it out a little bit on the top, kind of like you would do a spotlight eye. Actually, exactly like you would do a spotlight eye. And then I'm just going to try to drag it in like a spotlight eye. Then, without really adding any additional product, I'm just going to flip the brush back over to the darker blue side. Oh, wrong eye. And I'm just going to lightly go over the edges of that. And I'm just going to kind of flip it back and forth until I kind of get it where I want it, until I'm happy with it. Okay, now I'm going to go in with this Jeffree Star matte liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade Blue Velvet. And I'm going to use a this is a Sigma E65. It's a liner brush. And I'm only going to just line around my lash line. And so I'm pretty much just patting this on here, especially where we used the shimmer shades. I feel like if you just rub it across it, a lot of that glitter will come off, or it'll look choppy because of that. But if you just press it on there, it looks a lot better, I think. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Marc Jacobs highliner, and this is in the shade, I'm not sure what this one's called, but it's black. So I'm just going to use this to get my upper waterline. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put on some mascara and apply my lash, and I will be right back. I have pretty much sworn off powder on my face. When you get a little bit older, you start to get like fine lines and wrinkles. I've never had Botox or anything, as you can tell. And so I don't want to put a bunch of powder on my face to dry it out. So what I'm going to do, what I've been doing, is taking a little bit of the P. Louise base, and I just press that underneath my lash line, my lower lash line, where I would get creasy, because I feel like it helps to keep from getting creased. And also, you don't have to set it with any setting powder. I feel like sometimes if you set with setting powder, your eyeshadows aren't as vibrant, but everything else that I've tried, you have to set it, but not with this. So that's what I'm using. And I'm just using this right under my lash line though, because it is kind of thick, and so I don't like to use that for all of this. Now this is just what works for me. Lots of different things work for a lot of different people, so you can do whatever suits you best. And then I am going to take a little bit of the Urban Decay Naked Concealer, and I'm in the shade Fair Neutral. And I don't like to use a lot of this either. I'll put like a little bit right here in my corner, and then I will blend it outwards. I feel like I get the best results with my makeup, especially when it comes to like foundation, concealer, and all of that stuff. I like to start with the most product in the center of the face and blend it outwards, because then it gets sheer as it goes out, and you know, it looks more natural. And since I only get creasy right up here, I don't have to worry about setting any of this. I'm just trying to blend everything together right here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the Jaclyn Hill Morphe JH43 brush, and I'm going to go back in with that shade that we've been using, the darkest shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette. And I'm going to press that in there and tap off any excess. And then I'm just going to tap it right under my lower lash line, right up against my lash line. I'm going to bring this all the way in. Once I've pressed it in there, I'm going to go back in with my brush, and I'm just going to blend it back and forth a little bit. Usually I wait to put my lashes on until after I've done this, but I just kind of switched it up today. Next, I'm going to take this R41. This is like my blending brush, my pencil brush that I've been using for a really long time, and it is Morphe, but it's not one of the Jaclyn Hill ones. There is a pencil brush in there, but I'm using it for a different shade, so I wanted to use this one for this darker shade, the cranberry. This is the Bitten by the Makeup Geek. By Makeup Geek, not the Makeup Geek. That right underneath that, just to blend that out. And again, I'm going to bring it all the way to the inner corner. And see, what I want it to do is kind of connect where we have our shadow here. So it just kind of like swoops down and it almost like makes a circle. Okay, so next I'm going to take the pencil brush that came in the Jaclyn Hill collection, and it is the JH38. And I'm going to go back in with that Moroccan shade by Makeup Geek, not the Makeup Geek. Or it is the Makeup Geek, like the great and wonderful Makeup Geek. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to blend right under that, and I'm going to whip it around here and connect it with that too, with the, you know, the upper lid. And then the last thing I'm going to use is the JH37, and I'm going back in with the shade Chickadee from Makeup Geek. And once again, I'm layering that right under. I'm going to swoop it up here to connect with this. I'm going to throw on some lower lash mascara. I like to use a waterproof mascara on my lower lashes because I do tend to crease there. Now, to highlight my brow bone, I'm going to go in with the brow bone highlighter that from the Jaclyn Hill set, and it is the JH42. And I'm actually just going to go in with the shade in Light from the Jaclyn Hill palette because that's what I have in front of me, and it just seems like it would be the easiest thing to use. And so I'm just going to lightly press it in here. Okay, so I have cleaned up my Sigma E65 brush, and I'm going to go in with the shade Flamethrower, and it's another Jeffree Star Cosmetics liquid lipstick. Then I'm just going to take a Beautyblender and pull my eyelid down, and I'm just going to stamp that on. I just wanted to use that shade to kind of spice this look up and give us like another pop of color just to make it a little different. But I do need to kind of tie this all in together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Too Faced glitter glue. I'm going to go in with the JH39. I'm going to put a little bit of that glue on there. Don't worry, I'm going to clean it later. And I'm just going to press that glue all here in my inner corner. Then I'm going to go in to the Fenty Galaxy palette again, and I'm going to grab this gorgeous like orange shade right here that's called Sunburst. I put the glitter glue down because where it's such a shimmery shadow and I didn't have the Louise base right here, I wanted to use it to help make that stick a little better. And then actually I'm just going to put a little bit of this shade right here on there too. This is Planet X, just to lighten it up a little because I feel like it's like really kind of dark in my inner corner and that's not what I want. So I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation, and I'm in the shade 120 right now. Now, like I said, I like to start all of my products in the center of my face, and I'm going to use a Morphe MB10, and I'm going to get some of that foundation on there, and I'm just going to do this. I focus the majority of the product like right in the center of my face. And so I just take the product and I try to work it towards the outer parts of my face, and I feel like it just gives it a way more natural look because you've not got like this big line over here. So once again, we're just working the product out, and I'm just bouncing it over my skin, and I'm going all the way down. So for contour, my favorite contour right now is the KKW, and this is just a single contour stick, and I'm in the shade Light 2, and I love this. I know there were like some bad reviews when it first came out because there wasn't a lot of product. I've been using this for a long time and it still has a lot, so I would recommend like getting the single sticks if that's what you want. And I mean, I'm telling you, I just don't use any powder products at all except for on my eyes, so this has just been really good for me. I like to go up a little bit higher right here and then just bring it down to like right here, like halfway in. I like to do just a little bit. I kind of do like a line, like a broken line down my neck, nose, my neck. And do a little under. I do a little bit right there, and right here in the center, And then I do a little bit down here too, but I use my beauty blender that I did my foundation with, and I take any extra down there. I'll show you in just a second. So I'm just going to take this and blend it up into my brow, right under my brow, like where a natural shadow would be. And these just blend. Oh, they blend so good. Let's see. So I am going to try this one. It's the JH08. I'm actually going to just spritz it with a little Fix Plus because I don't like to go in with a cream contour with like a dry brush. It's doing a really good job with this KKW bronzer stick. It really does, like the contour stick, it really does blend out really easy and really nice anyways. But this, you know, works. I'm going to use the extra that's on this just to contour my jaw a little bit. I don't like for there to be like this big harsh line. Now I'm just going to go back in with my beauty blender and finish this because look how easy the beauty blender just blends it out. Take this in and just barely blend those two spots out a little bit. And for my cheeks, because this is the only thing that I have right now, the only like cream blush that I have. I got this in a BoxyCharm one time, and it's by LAQA and Company, Cheeky and Lip. So I guess you can use this for your cheeks or your lips. It's not like my favorite shade, but it blends down to just about nothing, and I have to use like very little, so I just use that same beauty blender and I just blend it out. Now we'll even use like the contour side, and it just gives you like a natural look. Now if you're someone who needs powder and needs to set your stuff, then go ahead and do that, but I don't really need to do that, and I really like for my skin to be dewy and hydrated, as opposed to like I cannot do that whole like packing the powder on. Like I tried that and my face just was so dry that it started peeling for like months. It was terrible. Highlighter I'm super excited about today. Today I'm going to be using the Liquid Frost by Jeffree Star, and I'm so excited. And I'm going to use the shade Frozen Peach. I got 4 of these, and because like I said, I'm totally into just liquid products, and that includes liquid highlighter. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I just went ahead and cleaned this JH08, like the one that I was using for the bronzer, and I put some of that Liquid Frost on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to see if I can use this brush. Oh my god, this is so flipping beautiful. I mean, I don't even know if it'll show up on camera like it does in person. It just looks so wet and dewy. Down the center of the nose. I mean, this looks so good. Like, I just can't get over it. I don't know. Can you guys see this? Like, oh my god, look at that. I'm dead. I'm dead. Okay, and then for lips, I want to do something really nude. So I'm going to go in with this Kylie Velvet Lipstick, and it's in the shade Bear. Next, I'm going to set my face with some Urban Decay De-Slick Setting Spray. And that is it. This is the finished look. I am so excited with how this turned out. You know, sometimes when you go to do something different or something really bold like this, you start to think, like in the middle of it, like, oh my god, that's too dark, or oh my god, that's like too much. Like, but what I have learned is, even if you think you mess up a little bit, follow through and finish the entire face, because it always looks different in the end. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this tutorial, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Please give this a thumbs up, and please come back and watch my next tutorial. See ya.